packed a bag after what my husband whispered to his friend at dinner. I wasn't supposed to hear it. That's the part that keeps replaying in my head. It was just another Friday night, the kind where you meet up with old friends, split appetizers, laugh too loud at inside jokes, and pretend adulthood isn't as exhausting as it really is. We were at a small steakhouse downtown, dim lighting, country music humming softly in the background. My husband Mark sat across from me, relaxed, charming as always. He had that easy confidence that used to make me feel lucky. But that night it made my stomach turn. Mark had invited his college friend Jason, who was in town for work. The three of us were halfway through dinner. When I excused myself to use the restroom, on the way back I realized I'd left my phone on the table. So I slowed down as I approached. That's when I heard it. Mark leaned in close to Jason and lowered his voice. Just a few more months, he whispered. Once everything's in place, I'm out. She won't see it coming. I froze at first. I genuinely thought I'd misunderstood. Jason let out a low chuckle. You're really gonna do it? Mark took a sip of his drink. Calm, casual, yeah. I've been planning it for a while. I just have to play nice a little longer. My chest tightened so fast I thought I might faint. They kept talking. Something about timing, about assets, about making sure the paperwork was handled before he made any moves. Jason asked if I suspected anything. Mark laughed. No. She'd trust me. I stood there maybe 10 feet away, staring at the back of my husband's head. Realizing I had absolutely no idea who I was married to, I forced myself to walk the rest of the way to the table. I even smiled. If he was playing nice, I could too. The rest of dinner was a blur. I laughed when I was supposed to. I nodded along to stories. I kept my voice steady. Mark squeezed my knee under the table at one point, like we were some united front. I wondered if he felt proud of himself. When we got home, I said I had a headache and went straight to bed. But I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and replayed every conversation from the last 6 months. The sudden interest in handling our finances alone, the push to simplify our joint accounts, the way he'd insisted we refinance the house in his name because rates were better. I'd thought it was responsible. Now it felt strategic. At around 2:00 a.m., I got up quietly and walked into the home office. I opened the filing cabinet. I don't know what I was expecting to find, but my hands were shaking as I flipped through folders. That's when I noticed a manila envelope I'd never seen before. Tucked in the back inside were printed emails between Mark and a divorce attorney. Dated 3 months ago, they weren't vague either. They discussed asset division, spousal support, minimizing exposure. One line stood out. I want this to be as financially efficient as possible. She doesn't need to know until everything is finalized. I sat on the floor and cried without making a sound. It wasn't just that he wanted to leave, it was that he was planning to blindside me, to strategically dismantle our marriage. While smiling across the dinner table, by 4 a.m. the tears stopped. Something colder took their place. I went back to the bedroom and watched him sleep. I didn't wake him up. Instead, I grabbed a suitcase from the closet. I packed quietly closed toiletries, important documents, my grandmother's necklace, my laptop. I left my wedding ring on the dresser. Then I drove to my sister's house. When Mark woke up that morning, I was already gone. He called at 8 a.m. I didn't answer. He texted at 8:14. Where are you at 8:19? Why is your ring here at 8:27? What's going on at 8:31? Please call me. I finally responded at 9. I heard what you whispered to Jason. There was no reply for nearly an hour. Then we need to talk. I almost laughed. We did talk later that afternoon in a coffee shop. Halfway between my sister's place and our house, he tried to say it wasn't what it sounded like. He said he was just exploring options. He said he felt trapped and didn't know how to tell me. He said he hadn't made a final decision. I slid the printed emails across the table. His face changed, the calm confidence from dinner gone. You went through my things? He asked. That was his first instinct. Not, I'm sorry, not I was wrong, but indignation that told me everything. I realized something sitting there across from him. The whisper at dinner didn't destroy my marriage. It revealed that the trust had already been gone. I just hadn't seen the cracks. Here's the part that surprises people when I tell them this story. I'm grateful I heard him. If I hadn't walked back to that table at that exact moment, I might have been blindsided. Months later, papers served, accounts drained, a carefully timed exit. Instead, I got the upper hand. I hired my own attorney. I froze our joint accounts. I documented everything. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt clear. It's strange how one sentence whispered in a crowded restaurant can change the entire direction of your life. I didn't pack that bag because I was weak. I packed it because I finally understood that staying would have been the bigger mistake. Now I'm rebuilding. It's not easy. Some days still hurt. Some nights are quiet in a way that feels heavy. But I sleep better knowing I wasn't the one playing games. If you've ever overheard something that changed everything, I'd love to know. Would you have confronted him right there at the table? Or would you have done exactly what I did? Let me know in the comments, because I still wonder if walking away without a scene was the smartest move or just the calmest one.